Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Lord of Godhead Krishna is always favorable to the humble and meek, but aristocrats, learned scholars and the wealthy are always proud of their possessions.
As you can understand, this is not a Sanskrit verse, and it's in Bengali, the Bengali of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And although Srila Prabhupada hasn't given a purport to this verse, I wanted to speak on it as it has an important message. As you might have noticed, this verse gives the meaning of the well-known name of Bhagavan, namely Dina Dayal. And specifically stated here that Bhagavan is particularly merciful to those who are Dina, Kangala. He said Kangala and sometimes Kangal is a synonym of Dina. It means poor. Anito Kangal. So what does Dina mean? It means poor or fallen or low. And the idea of who is the opposite of Dina is given in this same verse. Those who are very high class by birth. Those who are very learned. Pandit means learned in Shastra, not in this modern MSc, how to be a big Shudra with a technology degree. And Dhani means one who has a lot of money. Dhanir. Dhanir is the possessive form. As it appears in this verse, but the word is Dhani. So, does this mean that to get the mercy of Bhagavan, one has to be born in a low family, one has to be an uneducated fool and a pauper? What is the meaning of Dina? Well, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's speaking this, has given his idea of what it means to be fallen in the verses previous to this, in which he says, Nicha jati nahe Krishna bhajane ajoga, Shatkul vipra nahe bhajane joga, Jai bhaje she bharo abhakta hina cha, Krishna bhajane nahik jat kuladi vicha, which means that those who are born in low families are not disqualified from worshipping Krishna. And simply to be born in what's considered a high family is not in and of itself a qualification for worshipping Krishna. Whoever worships Krishna is great, and a non-devotee is a rascal. Hina, the word is used. These words are often used together. Dina, hina. Means the same, more or less the same thing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that all these material qualifications, such as birth, they are not factors in the worship of Krishna. So the usual understanding of Dina means someone who's very low in the estimation of human society. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's estimation is one who is very low, who is not a devotee of Krishna. But in this verse which we're reading today, it appears that he's using the conventional use or the ordinary use of the word Dina, fallen. Of course, it's not that people who are born in high families or who are learned or who are wealthy are disqualified from bhakti. But the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes is that such people, they're often very proud. So that is a disqualification for bhakti. A devotee, as the principal qualification of a devotee, is to be very humble. Well, there are many. We should have, simply to be humble is not enough, but one should be a devotee of Krishna and humble. And actually there's no real humility outside of bhakti to Krishna. And it may not be necessary to become poor, like I say, but often we see in the past that many devotees, they give up all their wealth just to serve Krishna, because they consider that these mundane qualifications, they can be disqualifications in bhakti. Sometimes we meet devotees who they're actually very deeply learned in Shastra, but they're so simple in their behavior, you wouldn't know that they were very learned. They're just very humble, because that's the actual sign of learning. So a sense of humility is required, to consider that I am a very insignificant servant of Krishna, or attempting to be a servant of the servants of Krishna. It's not that to get Krishna's mercy one should actually be fallen and perform all sinful activities. You shouldn't think, well, Krishna favors the fallen, okay, let me go out and drink some wine and then Krishna will have mercy on me. I'll eat some meat and dance some disco music and in this way I'll get God's mercy. But a devotee should, Srila Prabhupada once said that a devotee is a perfect gentleman. But even if a devotee is, the point is that even if a devotee is on the topmost level, he always thinks himself very low. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Sarvotam apanake hin karemane, that one who's on the topmost platform thinks himself very fallen. And, well, that's actually the qualification of a topmost devotee, that he thinks he's very fallen. It's paradoxical. Paradoxical means it seems contradictory, or whereas one who's actually not very great, who they think they're very great. Here in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishadas Kaviraj Goswami describes himself. Purushaya Kit Jagai Madhai Hoite Muishe Papishto Purushaya Kito Hoite Muishe Logishto Jai Mora Nam Shune Tara Punna Koi Jai Mora Nam Loi Tara Pap Hoi. You know this? You can give the translation. Well, he says that I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai, the famous avatars of Dina of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila. He said, I am more insignificant than a worm in stool. Anyone who hears my name, their piety is destroyed. And anyone who says my name is sinful simply by doing so. We find also Bhaktivinoda Thakur, these are undoubtedly the Vaishnavas on the very highest level. He also describes himself as Dina, Shakti Buddhihin, Ami Ati Deen. He prays that I am devoid of strength or intelligence. I'm extremely fallen and low. This is the qualification. Cultivating this attitude is the qualification to get mercy. Because mercy, like water, it naturally comes down. One doesn't give mercy to a superior. One doesn't approach one's guru and say, my dear guru, I'm going to be merciful to you. The guru will give mercy to the disciple. So if one thinks, well, I'm very great, then what is the need of any mercy? Then you don't get it. And actually we all need mercy. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that same song, he says, Tomara Karuna Shah, your mercy is all that I am made of. But one gets mercy who prays for that and feels himself dependent. This sense of dependency is the crux of bhakti. The essence, you can say. The vital point, the basis, that on which everything rests. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught, all Gauriya Vaishnavas learn this verse and recite it. So you can recite it with me. Trunadapi sunichena taroriva sahishrana manina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. 4 lines and infinite purport. Easy to say, but not so easy to do for those of us who are conditioned souls. To consider oneself lower than straw in the street, more insignificant. If there's a piece of straw in the street, does anyone bother? It's not an issue for anyone. It's not going to make it to the newspaper. It's not going to, no one bothers if they step on it, or it just doesn't make any difference to anyone in any way whatsoever. A bird would like to take it away to make his nest. Or the ants might come and take it away. The ants take away all kinds of things. But even they don't consider it's very important. There's plenty of other straws in the street. So to actually think oneself more insignificant than a straw in the street, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about this kind of humility. And not caring for, that means not caring for honor, that one doesn't want to be honored. And then to be more tolerant than a tree. I'm sorry if you're all feeling cold. It's a bit cold here this evening. Please tolerate. But the tree has to tolerate cold, heat, rain, wind, different insects and birds and people. They come and drill holes in it and cut it. Some birds pass stool on it. The tree just tolerates. So that level of tolerance. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended not just tolerate, but even people who may dishonor you, mana dena, you can give them honor. So this is very difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult to go to the Himalayas and sit in a cave and do yoga for hundreds of years. But it's even more difficult to be Trinadapi Sunichena Tararipi Sahishrana Amanina Amanadena Kirtaniya Sadaya. Even chanting the names of Krishna, we can do that. At least some people are fortunate to have the taste to physically chant the names. But to have this mood of utter humility, it seems very difficult. It is only possible by understanding our own actual insignificance and the greatness of Krishna. Because actually we are very tiny living beings. That's a fact. Even the whole universe is just one universe in millions of universes. So our only significance is because Krishna loves us. Otherwise, our only significance is in relationship to Krishna. So this utter humility, which this attracts the mercy of Krishna. And the mercy of Krishna flows down and lifts us up to his lotus feet. But if we think, now I've gone up, I've become very big, then immediately just by thinking that, we go down. We lose the mercy. Another of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions is to be a guru. Jare deko tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amar agyai guru hoya taro edesh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed, wherever you go, whoever you meet, instruct them in the science of Krishna. In this way, become a guru and deliver this land. So to instruct others means to take a superior position. I know something you don't, and you should listen to me for your own benefit. This is inherent in the act of instruction, this feeling. So how to balance these two things, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street and taking a position superior to others. You may even be wondering why I'm sitting above all of you and talking about thinking oneself very low. Because if I thought myself very low, then why should I sit very high? I should sit very low. But if I have to give some instruction on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, then instruction like mercy, which actually the two things go together, they flow down, they don't go up. It's the same thing, that the teacher has to teach the students and not vice versa. Of course, in the insane ideas they have them in the modern age, they may be the teachers ask the students to instruct them, or all kinds of strange ideas they have. But actually, instruction means the teacher knows and instructs. So how to balance these two things? One should be very humble, then one can attain Bhakti. And one should instruct others about Bhakti, but if you instruct, then how can you be humble? You lost Bhakti already. Well, that's a great test for preachers, because when one goes to preach Krishna Bhakti, then at least in a cultured country like India, I mean there is some culture still left here, people will tend to respect that you have come to... many people will respect that this is something of benefit that you have come to give us. Now, because we have ourselves just come to Bhakti, most of us, then that may be a temptation to enjoy the honor offered by others. And we may even we may not even notice in our own minds, because Maya is very subtle, how we are become more and more concerned with simply accepting respect from others and not really imparting the essence of bhakti to others, which is utter humility. So this is a great test for preachers, because preaching doesn't just mean speaking, but sometimes we have to speak very strongly. So unless we cultivate the understanding, Tomara Karuna Shah, that I'm simply made of the mercy of Guru Vaishnavas, Hari Guru Vaishnav, then we'll again become fallen. So this abhiman, this sense, I'm important, this is a great obstacle in spiritual life. No one can progress unless they at least try to overcome this sense of false pride. On the other hand, we have to preach Krishna consciousness. So we have to remain humble despite the offering from Maya that now you can enjoy being respected. Preaching means interacting with the world. So it may be that those who take to Krishna consciousness and preach Krishna consciousness, they start moving, even though they may be from the lower caste, or they may be not very well educated, or they may be not very rich, they're not Kulin, Pandit or Dhani, but because of their preaching, they start to move among this worldly higher society, and they start mixing with people of a higher social status than they would have had the chance to do if they had not taken to the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Or they start to deal with large amounts of money, which they probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to do so if they hadn't taken to Krishna consciousness. So these are all tests for the devotee. How can a devotee remain fixed in the understanding that I am simply the servant of Krishna? Well, actually, to preach Krishna consciousness, our philosophical basis has to be very strong. We have to be clearly fixed in the understanding that we are all servants of Krishna, menial servants, humble servants, insignificant servants, and understand that everything in this world, even if you get 1,000 crores of rupees, it's all insignificant. While busy dealing with money for Krishna's service, we should know that this is only of value if used for Krishna. If used for myself, whether it's 1 paisa or 1,000 crores of rupees, it will simply take me to hell. So preachers, they may be busy running here and there, but it's imperative that they spend time regularly studying Srila Prabhupada's books, so that they will remain fixed in a clear understanding of who we are and what is our position in the service of Krishna. And so that our own understanding of Krishna consciousness deepens, and when we speak to others, we have something substantial to offer them, not just platitudes. Platitudes means we just say something as a matter of habit, but there's no depth in it. Of course, Krishna consciousness, the preaching of Krishna consciousness is not just speaking. Srila Prabhupada is the preacher of Krishna consciousness in the modern age. But he didn't only lecture, he organized a whole movement meant for preaching Krishna consciousness. And he emphasized that for preaching Krishna consciousness, the distribution of his books is essential. And the public chanting of the holy names of Krishna is essential. And the widespread distribution of Krishna prasadam is essential. This is like the trishul for attacking Maya. Maya has her trishul of Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, and we have the trishul of Prabhupada's books, prasadam distribution and Harinam. So actually this movement is supposed to be a great war against Maya. It's required to be very organized to massively inundate the people with Prabhupada's books, Krishna Prasadam and Harinam. But of course, what I was saying is not just speaking, but to motivate people or the devotees to do these, it requires that we be devotees. It's not just it's not like organizing a factory or something like this. Running pushing on the Krishna conscious movement is not like organizing any other kind of movement. It is based on personal sacrifice. We're asking people to undertake many difficulties just to preach Krishna consciousness. So they won't, who will do that unless they understand the value of Krishna consciousness, unless they're experiencing the taste of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness means that we ourselves should become fixed in Krishna consciousness and distribute that to others. Janma sarthak kari karo para upakar. We should make our lives successful by Krishna consciousness and work to help others by giving them Krishna consciousness. And actually, if we try to sincerely to spread Krishna consciousness, then in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, Je bhaje she baro, according to the degree in which we serve Krishna, we are, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's estimation, great. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants all his devotees to be great. He wants them to be glorified. The devotee doesn't want that he himself is glorified. But Krishna wants that his devotees are glorified. So a devotee doesn't act in a manner that a real devotee doesn't act in a manner thinking, oh, people will notice me, I'm so great. The one who sincerely tries to serve, that sincere service will be noticed by others who are sincerely trying to serve. So, you should all become great devotees of Krishna. You are all great devotees or on the path to be great devotees. One becomes great in Krishna consciousness by becoming the dedicated, humble servant of the great devotees. It's not a matter of collecting titles or positions or awards or honors. But if one is actually sincere to serve Krishna, then Krishna will appreciate that and the Vaishnavas will appreciate that. All the time one should think of oneself as very lowly and fallen. Even though one may take the position of instructing others, this will attract the mercy of Krishna. This is the meaning of Dina dayala, the Lord who is very merciful to those who are considering themselves very low. Dinere adhik daya kare bhagavan kulin pandit dhanya para abhiman. The Supreme Lord is very merciful to those who consider themselves very low. So adhik daya, he's very merciful to those who consider themselves very low. Daya means mercy and dayal means merciful. So it's a bit different. Maybe in Tamil it's different, but I'm quoting the Bengali of the verse. So that doesn't mean he's not merciful to others. Bhagavan's mercy is, he extends his mercy to everyone, but especially to those who are craving that by considering themselves very lowly and very much in need of that. The mercy of Bhagavan to those who are proud usually comes in a manner which is not very pleasing to them. The pride of the proud is always smashed. Those who consider themselves very big, they will be chopped down like a tree. That is Krishna's mercy on them. So that they may understand that I'm not so big as I thought I was. Or they may not understand. They may still think I'm very big, I'm very great. Sometimes you see people, they have nothing to be proud of, but still they're proud. I mean, it's kind of understandable if people have Janmaishvarya Shuta Shri, if they have high birth, wealth, learning and bodily beauty. Well, might be difficult not to be proud if you have all these opulences. But it's quite common in the modern age that you find people who are from actually a very low-class family and very, to be frank, ugly and not well educated and they're poor, and still they're arrogant like anything. That is a symptom of Kali Yuga. Everyone is proud, even though they've got nothing to be proud of. So this pride is a great obstacle in Krishna in spiritual progress. In the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it's stated that for someone who's proud, it's like there are huge, insurpassable mountains in between them and Bhagavan. So how can we overcome this egoism? That requires mercy also. By our own effort, we can't. At some point, we just have to stop thinking that I'm great, I can do everything myself, and simply pray for the mercy of the Vaishnavas, of Guru, and of Krishna to please make me your actual servant. So, Hare Krishna. Any question about this, please?
Humility and conquering the anger totally, are they one and the same?
Are humility and conquering anger one and the same? Yes, actually, if one is humble, then all qualities will manifest from that. But we should understand what conquering anger means. This is a commonly asked question. Should we tell Hanuman to conquer anger? You shouldn't have got so angry and burned Lanka. You should have been more humble. Shall we tell Hanuman that? His burning Lanka was an act of the pure devotional humility. Understanding that my only business is to serve Lord Rama. So in this situation, the best way I can serve him is by burning Lanka.
Say that.
Trishul is not representing the three taken of sufferings.
What is the Trishul of Maya? I said the three gunas. And you're saying it's the three kinds of suffering. There are so many threes. One of Krishna's names is Triyadhish. He's the Lord of all kinds of threes. So Maya's threes, she also has varieties of threes. Bhubhuva Swa, that's also part of Maya's threes. So she's attacking us. Yeah, anything else? Hare Krishna. Yeah, take the mic.
For Hare Krishna, thank you for wonderful lecture. For a preacher who wants to dedicate his life to preaching, but still something is like holding back, not to be 100% enthusiastic and into it. How to overcome this, and what is this which is holding me back, that I am not completely give up all hopes, other hopes in the future?
In various forms, this question is often asked. My answer is, well, just get on with life, and whatever the stupid things are there in the mind, just don't take it too seriously. If you start analyzing it, then you get more sidetracked by it. You know what you have to do, and you just do it, that's all. Due to previous nonsense, there's all kinds of nonsense, all some kind of strange things going off in the mind, but anyway, alright, just shut up and let's get on with what I have to do. Maya will keep on calling. She doesn't give up very easily. Oh, come on. What is all this Krishna consciousness? You're brainwashed. So many ways Maya is always, she doesn't give up easily. We should understand what we have to do and just go on with doing it. And also just face the reality that Maya's going to be there and she's not going to give up and she's going to go on and on with her various messages. But if we just go on with what we have to do, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will deliver us. This Jare Deko Tare Koha verse, this was spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to a devotee who wanted to leave everything and just come and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. he said that this world, I'll just join you because there's too much Maya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just said, just stay here, do your duty, preach. And he said, if you do this, then Kabuna Badhibe Tomai E Bishoy Taranga Punarapi E Tai Pabe Morashanga. If you do this, then Maya will not obstruct you. Didn't say that Maya would go away, but Maya wouldn't be able to, if you're actually determined to go on with the preaching activities, then you will be able to. Maya won't stop you if you just go on with that. And again, at this place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you will get my association. So he left that place, and the devotee wanted to go with him, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you stay here, but if you do what I say, you follow my instruction and preach Krishna consciousness, then right here, you will get my association. Follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, then we get his association, we get his all mercy from him. Even though the Maya is also dancing around on the side, or in our minds, but if we take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the Parampara system, then he will deliver us. He promises that. So the best thing is not to bother too much about our minds. It's just like, you see some completely crazy person in the street, and, you just don't bother with them. What are you going to say to them? So it's like that. You got these crazy things going in our mind. Well, just don't bother with it. That's all. Just don't take it seriously. The crazy person takes himself very seriously. That doesn't mean that we have to. He may regularly cause disturbance, but still, he's crazy and you shouldn't take him seriously. Oh, it's that crazy guy again. Okay, Hare Krishna. That's all. What are you going to do? Well, sir, actually you should not be crazy and you should be good and... Crazy, you can't deal with a crazy person. So just don't deal with them. Yes, but the disapproval of the vortex of the second militia. What about that? The mind will say. Translate it in Tamil. Immediately. Anyway, just some nonsense. And you say, yes, it's very interesting, and let me think about that, and I'll try and reply to that. It's quite a complex question. Just, it's crazy, that's all. So all these ideas, you see, I should become very great, and people should recognize me, and, there's nothing that wrong with eating meat, and it makes you strong and healthy, and, what's the use of all this chanting, and probably better that I just sleep all day, and, there's so many other things I could be doing, and just shut up, that's all. It's just nonsense, that's all. You just don't bother with it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,